Well, I see I'm late for my webinar that I'm supposed to be running like a minute ago, so let me run and do that. I will talk with you about Patrick Cole here shortly. Okay. Yep. Yeah, I'll talk with you before lunch. Yep. Very likely. I'm sure you're right. Okay. Okay. Thank you. You bet. Bye. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here today. I'm going to check my audio and make sure it's working. Yeah, looks like it is. That's good. So my name is Steve Murray. I'm with Insurance Agency Marketing Services, actually the president here. I get to work with Dave Pimper Tuesdays, sometimes on Fridays, and this is my lucky Friday to talk about some sales stuff. And so today we're going to talk about Social Security claiming, generally how Social Security claiming works, some ins and outs of Social Security claiming, kind of the top 3 or 4 or 5 things that you need to know that Dave's going to walk you through here today. And then there'll be some opportunity to get additional training and also some opportunities to talk about ways that then you can use that expertise to grow your business, meet new clients, and help your current clients. So all in all, it's going to be a great meeting here today. Thank you all for joining us on a Friday afternoon or Friday morning for some. We appreciate the opportunity to work with you, and we really love the opportunity to work with folks that are looking for ways to better assist their clients and to grow their business, and that's really what we're talking about today. So I'm going to run through a few things. I'm going to do a more formal introduction to Dave. Dave's going to join us, and we're going to talk about Social Security claiming. So let's go ahead and get rolling here. First thing I want to mention to you, it looks to me like we have a number of folks on with us and maybe just joined us recently or maybe even just considering joining us. So keep our new producer builders in mind. You can see there before you on the screen kind of how the new producer builders, what we do at the various levels and what you can claim. I'm guessing that for a lot of folks, you can kind of get an idea of what the cash value of those is. And the reason that I mentioned that is what I would say is that if you have something that you want to do or already doing that's working better for you, just like us to contribute towards, we'll do that as well. You could see as you look at that maybe that's a kind of like a marketing assistance on steroids for your first 180 days, and that's really what it is. So if we can, whether it's one of those programs, whether you decide radio or want to do some seminars or want to build your digital presence, or maybe something else that you want to do to grow your business, we're glad for folks that are just joining the team, kind of getting a feel for who we are here at IAMS and how we operate. We're glad to give you a little extra to help get your business flowing at the level that you like. So take advantage of that, those new producer builders. 2 programs are ongoing. They have nothing to do with how long, they just go on forever. There's an RPM program, and that's referred producer money. When you give us a referral, then what we do is once they get contract, we'll send you a check, but then we also put their name in our system under you. And that doesn't change anything in the way that they're treated. They still get all the benefits and everything that would normally that you enjoy, whether it's training, et cetera. Even these 2 programs are eligible for those as well. So we pay you a little bonus for their business out of our advertising budget. And you can see how that would add up, for instance, on annuities, 20 basis points on their business. And so literally there are thousands of dollars of checks that we send out on RPM, some on a monthly basis, most on a quarterly basis. And hopefully some of you that are joining us here today get to enjoy some of those. Also marketing reimbursement, another simple program that we have. You put business in with IAMS, whether it's life, annuity, long-term care, single premium live, whatever that you're doing, you're going to get some money that's going to go into your marketing reimbursement account. And think of it as a way to kind of double your marketing budget, because that's what we do is we match your spending dollar for dollar out of that marketing reimbursement account. We got great back office support here. Everybody says service is king, and we're the kings of service. And the proof really is in the pudding. So I don't dwell on this a long time, but what I want you to do is kind of think about as you're doing your business with IAMS and kind of the level of service you're getting, maybe if it's not notably better than what you're used to. I think you'll find that I hear that over and over again from our guys that have been with us forever, is that the level of service is it saves them money, saves them time, frees them up to do more of what they want to do, whether that's more sales themselves or more golf. And that's really what we do here. That's why we do what we do, is really to free up your time, to allow you to be more efficient with your time. And so we've got a great team, whether it's case design or helping you through the submission process, or the last call that we make on your business is, when can the agent expect the commission in his account? And then we relay that to you. So we follow that really, your business through, really from submission and commission on a very proactive basis. We try and do what we can to save you effort, but there are times when we need some help from you. We'll let you know that as well, and we'll try and do that with a phone call. We like, sometimes guys and gals out in the field prefer to be communicated with by email. I can understand that, but we too know that sometimes there's nothing like a phone call. So we usually start with that. And if you say, hey, we'd just prefer emails, we'll do that for you as well. But we do have great back office support. Firelight is an e-app platform, and it's a pretty simple platform. It's most used in the insurance business, and most of our carriers use Firelight. What we did was we put a single sign-on instance of Firelight on our website. And what does that mean for you? That means that most of the carriers that you do business with on the annuity side, you can do through Firelight from our system. So you don't have to hop from website to website to website. If you're doing an app on one client with two different carriers, you can do that as a simple kind of a cut and paste process within our website to make your life easier. And it gets at, if you've not done e-apps and wonder if you should, I would give it a try. The sign up process to get on Firelight on our website is like literally 2 to 3 minutes. I'd call your sales director and say, hey, get me signed up on that. And then next time you want to do an application, go in, website, go to Firelight, pull up the app, and go through that process. Email it to your client. They do the signing ceremony, which is pretty easy via email, and it really is a thorough and very professional look. And of course, when you can't see people because of pandemics, it really makes it's kind of indispensable. So we got kind of lucky with that introduction. We introduced it a couple years ago. Then comes the pandemic. So probably 60% of our apps right now are done e-app. Whether it's through Firelight or iPipeline on the life side. So take advantage of that. That single sign-on is a great feature. If you're doing e-apps and you haven't done the single sign-on system through IAMS, it'll save you a lot of time. You'll really love that. We got an advertising team, basically, that, and you can see before you some of the things that they can do. But if you think of it as, hey, anything that I might look to an advertising firm to do, IAMS can do for me, and they can do it. And they're kind of very specific to my business. They've worked with a lot of folks that do just what I'm trying to do. They're going to do it at a cost that is as low a cost as possible, or pro bono if they can, because for us, this is all about helping you grow your business. And we do it day in and day out. We got some really good people over there that do a great job. Very easy to work with. So whether you need a website, or whether you need some help on your Facebook advertising, get your Facebook set up properly, or whatever, or just need some nice pieces that you can hand out to your clients, whatever you need to help grow your business, it can be accomplished by them. And they do a very professional look. I think you'll be pleased, and a lot of that stuff's already built. So something to think about and look at if you're looking for a little bit more of a media, image boost. They can definitely do that for you. And the way that you access that is call your sales director, have them walk you through some of the things, or you can tell them what you're looking to have done, or ask them what can be done, and they'll be glad to do that. And then they'll put you in the system with the advertising group. We've got a great website, a lot of things out there that have been added over the last year or two. From my standpoint, I think the best approach that you can have is to call your sales director and say, okay, this is my business. What are the things that I should know about on your website? So whether it's our sales tools platform, or mostly every possible form that you could think of that you might need in a sales process is on our website in the sales resource library. There's some nice sales introductory information. So there's some things that you can send your client and personalize to them via email that are all out there on the sales platform. So if nothing else, I would have them show you that. But finding out where the firelight system is, find out we have a quote engine where you could go in and say, hey, I've got a client in Illinois that's 88, looking for the best 3-year rate guarantee, and we have a filtering system on our website, and that's what we use internally. A lot of times when you call us and say, and we're glad to do that for you, but if you want to do it on your own, or maybe you're off hours and you want to look at some things, to know that where that is on our website and for you to have access to it is a really nice thing. We've got the term quoter and life quoter out there. We've got Medicare Connect. So if you're doing Medicare business and you want to know who's got the best rate in your area right now today for whatever plan G, whatever that you want to look at, this Medicare quoter will tell you that, and you can also do an e-app right from there as well. So we've tried to put a lot of tools out there that we think producers like yourselves use day in and day out. Hopefully you'll take a few minutes and call your sales director and have them walk you through that. That will give you the best look at what's out there that might be valuable to you. The Retirement Analyzer is a really nice software piece, and there's a lot of them out there that I think are very good. And my goal here with this quick conversation is to make sure that you're aware that we have this available. We're going to pay for it for you. Anybody that does business with us, we're going to pay for it for you forever. But if you're just getting rolling with us right now and you want to have a look at it, we'll give you a free trial. And then once you get to doing business with us, we'll pay for it for you. This is a really comprehensive plan, and the thing I like about the Retirement Analyzer, and you can see some of the graphics just before you on the screen and some of the questions that get answered, but what I like about it in terms of the value to you is I think about the easiest input to get the best output that I have seen. And so it's a really good combination on the front end of, the information needs to be good going in, or you're not going to get information going out. It needs to be fairly thorough going in, or you're not going to get what you want coming out the backside. But in terms of asking the least of you on the front end to get the most on the back end, I don't think there's a better software tool out there than the Retirement Analyzer. We've been using it and making it available to our producers for probably 15, 16 years now. And it's not that we haven't looked at some other stuff, but it's as good as we've been able to find. So I'm going to refer you in our office to Marcus Soller, and I'll send you his email address, and I'll get you our phone number here. If you have interest in taking a free look at that, maybe run one on yourself, or take one of your A clients that you have a lot of the information in their file already and input it, and then see what the output looks like and say, is this something I could use with my A, B, and C clients to further increase my value to them, get additional business from them. A lot of times your A clients, you feel like you've gotten all their money. You probably have, maybe gotten 80% of it. B clients, maybe you're not as sure about that. This is a way to further entrench yourself with them and get a better look at what they have, because in order for them to get it and find out the ultimate answer, which is, am I covered in retirement, and am I going to be standing over my money, looking at my money in the coffin, or is my money going to be standing over me looking at me in the coffin? This will answer that question. Am I going to outlive my money? Is my money going to outlive me? And what do I need to change? And what do I need to be looking at? This is a great piece of software to do just that. And so if you haven't looked at something like it, or if you haven't looked at this particular software, give Marcus a call and give yourself a fair shot at seeing if that might be something you can use. And again, it'd be no cost to you, and Marcus will help you with the process. So everybody, we've seen a lot of folks here on our DOL webinars. In fact, they're our most widely attended webinars ever. 2 days in a row, we have gone over we can only have 500 people on a webinar at a time, and so we've gone over that on a couple webinars on the DOL. And so I know that you are all familiar, or many of you are familiar with what's going on there, and why maybe adding managed assets as part of your business is more important than ever. We built IAMS Wealth about 5 years ago, when the initial Obama rule and DOL rule looked like it was going to go into place, and it looked like having the ability to offer managed assets was going to be of key importance. And now what we've seen go through today is the Trump era DOL rule, which is a little stickier than maybe some thought it would be, but it's still, there's still certainly a good reason to offer managed assets now as part of your business to be as compliant as you can be. I would say that either you need to have a good viable way that you refer that business, or you need to consider making it part of your business, one or the other, to be as compliant as you can be. And I know that they're going to be adding on additional, layering on additional requirements and regulatory oversight on this DOL rule as it goes along. So more and more, I think having managed assets as part of your business is going to be important. That's why we built IAMS Wealth. And many of you already know that. We've seen, a lot of adoption from our insurance producers of managed assets, and I think that's just a recognition that that's part of the future, and there's not going to be a way around it. And if you can't avoid it, then let's make it a good thing. And frankly, if you're in the insurance business and working with folks a lot in the pre-retired, doing a lot of annuity business, and you add managed assets as part of your business, you're going to see that your fixed business is going to grow. That's been like a common denominator that I've heard from all of our guys that have taken that on over the past 2 or 3 years, and it's just helped them grow their fixed business as well as their managed asset business has grown as well. So that's a good thing. And I know many of you, just looking at our list here, many of you are part of IAMS Wealth. There's a couple of you that I know are kind of thinking about it. And then I'm guessing that a number of you are probably have a 65 and maybe not necessarily happy with where you're at. So I'm going to put this quick poll up, and I'm going to ask you to answer as quickly as possible. So obviously, there's some great reasons to add managed assets to your business. You're going to increase your revenue, you're going to retain your clients better, and you're going to have better client relationships. But more specifically, here's the reasons that people have said to me, hey, this is a good thing about IAMS Wealth, that as opposed to maybe my other RIA. And so their fees are more efficient. They're not always lower, but I hear they're lower quite a bit. But in terms of what you get for your fees, so you get your E&O, you get your websites, you get your compliance oversight, and you get that one-on-one, sales service. So I've heard that they're very, very efficient, very competitive on the fee side. What I hear more is on the payout side. They pay their advisors make, generally speaking, just a little bit over 1%. And a lot of times RIAs will advertise 1% is the payout, but then you go through a grid with that. So you're getting 60, 70, 80, or 90% of that 1%. We don't have that at IAMS. The full one, it's 100%. Everybody gets 100% of that 1%. So keep that in mind. If that's not the case with your RIA, you'd like to explore that. If you're thinking about getting a Series 65 and need some help with the process, we're really good at that. We've worked with a lot of guys. Most of our folks that are with our RIA are people that we've taken from not in the business at all to getting their testing done and walking them through the process and the whole kit and caboodle on it. So if that's something that you need some help on, by all means hit yes on that poll. Those would be the primary reasons I would hit yes. A little bit higher payouts, a little bit lower fees, a little bit better service and assistance, and getting that test and in growing your business. I do hear that quite a bit. The securities industry in general is not one that's high service to the producer. They're high compliance. We're good on the compliance side, obviously, but they do carry kind of the service mantra that we built over the years, last 35 years at IAMS, and so they're very high service as well. We put a lot of value, as you all know, on serving you, our customers. So I'm going to close that poll down. Thank you all for voting. We appreciate that greatly. I see that there are some of you that were not able to vote or for some reason haven't voted, which is fine. I'll shoot you an 800 number. You can certainly call in if you would like to speak with somebody over there. I'll make sure that happens for you. So I'm going to close that poll out. Thank you, most of you, for voting so quickly. Let's get moving right along here. So this is something I want to make sure that everybody knows about. We've been advertising this quite a bit since we put it in place about a month ago, because qualification is just starting for our next Top Producer Summit, which will take place in the late summer, early fall of 2022. We're going to go August 28th, and be departing from Rome, and we'll deboat in Venice on the 4th of September. If you look at your calendar, that is actually Labor Day weekend. So it'll be great travels. You can see before you some of the ports we're going to go to. We're going to go to Rome, Sorrento, Messina, Corfu, which is in Greece, Qatar, Montenegro, Dubrovnik, Croatia, which that one baffles me, but because I'm like, Croatia, why would win? But everybody says that it's like the most beautiful place to stop. So it's also King's Landing. If you watch Game of Thrones, that's where King's Landing is filmed. So evidently it is quite a beautiful place. I was never a big fan of that show either, but and then we'll end up in Venice, Italy. So it's going to be a great. Well, everybody will have a balcony. We'll all be on the concierge level or better. We'll have three or four folks actually that will be at suite levels, even above that, top producer. So love to have you join us. As I mentioned, we've got a lot of time to qualify. We just started qualification and it runs through June of 2022. So you've got a lot of time to qualify to hit that 4.5 million. So 4.5 million, it doesn't show it here, but it's dollar for dollar annuity premium. So you get 1 credit for every dollar of annuity premium. You get about 11.5 credits for every dollar of target premium. You get 1 for every dollar of excess, you get another point. And for your single premium life business, you get 1.5 credits. So a very, very doable level of qualification. We'd love to have you join us. And if you have any questions or need to know where you're at from a point standpoint already, we've had one person qualify already. We've got probably 5 or 6 people already halfway qualified. So qualification is off to a great start. I think a lot of people have a pent-up desire to do some traveling, and they feel pretty good about things will clear up by the fall of 2022. We sure hope so, and we'll be able to travel the world at that point. So looking forward to seeing you all there, and love to answer any questions that you might have. We do a lot of our advertising stuff that goes out, kind of what I would call some of our proprietary stuff gets offered through our Facebook and LinkedIn accounts. So there's some things that the folks that follow us there have available that others don't. So take advantage of those by following us or liking us, and we would sure appreciate that. So I'm going to take a minute now, and I'm going to talk a little bit about our guest speaker, Dave Pimper. Dave is the president of Lazarus Coaching. Many of you know him because you've coached with him before. You've joined us on webinars. So Dave is, over the past 11, 12 years, really made himself into an expert along the lines of Social Security claiming. He's offered seminars, advertises his expertise on the radio, done digital seminars, and of course uses it in his practice every day. And he would agree with me if he heard me saying that it took a little convincing on my part to have Dave go down the path. He'd done a lot of coaching with us, does a great job on seminar coaching. I wanted to offer Social Security seminars because I thought there was some opportunity there. And so I asked Dave to take that on, and he did. And he has built that into, that's easily the most successful seminar process that we've ever had in terms of quality of contacts, quality of business, and quality of ongoing relationships built around Social Security claiming. I just don't know there's been a better one. Other ones that Dave has done has been qualified funds, Roth conversion, practice management, and just overall, 8 common retiree mistakes, things like that. And they've all been very successful seminar approaches, and he's used a lot of the knowledge he's gained in his radio to meet a lot of prospects. So Dave is in the business since the early 80s, 82 or so. I got in the business 84, so Dave beat me by a couple of years. But certainly from a sales standpoint, a marketing standpoint, he's built his business and helped many of our producers build their business using good, strong marketing skills, making sure that the problem is not people to talk to, but rather, having a good opportunity to see folks after folks after folks. I talked to Dave, and via his radio, as a for instance, he's been averaging about 18, 19 appointments each month from radio. And then, of course, he does his Social Security, digital marketing, and some digital seminars, and probably soon be getting back to face-to-face seminars, then the referrals. So for Dave, the issue is never having enough prospects to talk to, and he's a big believer, and that's the success point of our business, is having people to talk to and having good stuff to talk to them about. And Social Security has been at the forefront of that. So when we talked, it probably goes back a little bit more than that 10 or 11 years ago when we started talking about Social Security and Social Security claiming. We had no idea at how uh, popular and beneficial that would become for many of our producers. So it's been an area we've spent a little extra time on here over the last couple of years, offered just some straight Social Security training as opposed to offering training that's specific to seminars and radio. So been a really good process. And so that's why we wanted to spend a little bit more time here today and talk about Social Security claiming. So glad that you are all able to join us here today, and we'll go ahead and walk through some stuff. Dave will be joining us shortly.
I'm here, Steve.
Oh, hey, there he is. Sorry, I didn't hear you come on.
Oh,
I
I
did
just wanted to hear all those accolades that you threw at me. That a lot of them aren't true. So
yeah. Well, there's no doubt that having you, and I try to emphasize the Social Security claiming and how beneficial that's been, because that's why we've got a really great crowd, and that's what they're here to hear about. And I want them to know that of all the things that they could join and talk about with Dave Pemper, probably Social Security is the one single most beneficial thing. So really great to have everybody here today. Great to have you aboard with us, Dave. And let's get talking a little bit more about Social Security and how they can help grow their business and learn more about Social Security claiming.
you bet, you bet. You're going to hear with Insurance Agency Marketing Services, IAMS, the FMO I coach for. Don't work for them. I'm an independent rep, just like the majority of the producers on our webinar today. But we're going to talk a lot about Social Security claiming, and the reason for that is I truly, in my 40 years in this business, I truly don't believe there is a better inroad of talking to people than with Social Security claiming. And the reason I say that, in the specifics of Social Security claiming, there is no money made from the advice that we give, unless you want to charge hourly. If you're a fiduciary and you've got a 65 or 66 license, you could charge. I don't. I have that license. I don't. I do fee-based under management, wealth management, but I don't go in and charge for my Social Security prowess. The reason for that is because I make my money from either commissions or fees, or I always say a surrender charge holding period, like a fixed index where it's paid from the company from the commission. And Social Security is it's a complicated subject. Very few people understand in the John Q public, and very few advisors. Only about 10 or 15% of all advisors really understand how the Social Security claiming system works. So it's a little bit of a unique. A lot of people show fixed index. A lot of people show mutual funds. A lot of people show variable annuities. A lot of people do fee-based management. But you know what? How many people really understand Social Security claiming? Not many. And that's really unique to carve that out. Simple? No. It takes time, a little bit of learning, a little bit going back to school. But having someone like myself to go in and work with you and coach you through this, that does make a difference. Okay? So we're going to go through this. We're going to do a quiz, a 5-question quiz. I want to see how much you know about Social Security. And then we're going to go through it. I'll tell you right now, we're going to give you 3 different ways to get learned up. Is that kind of country? Get learned up. Yeah, or get coached up on Social Security claiming to really understand it. You can do through the marketing program of a Social Security seminar, either virtual, which I got another one coming up here in about 3 weeks, a virtual Social Security seminar, or face to face if your area allows that during this pandemic times. I'll coach you at no charge on Social Security, coach you up. Also with Retirement Boss Radio, which Steve mentioned, and I was averaging 12, 13, 14 appointments almost ever since the get-go, but that has increased here as of late. I mean, a lot more people, I think, are listening to radio right now because there's maybe nothing else to do when they're home, and they're at home a lot more. But we coach it up there also, or you can just a la carte it. No marketing program. I coach you up at $800 for 4 sessions with all the attachments. So let's go in. We'll kind of start getting from the slides here. I appreciate everybody taking time out. Time out on a Friday. Thank you, Lord. It's Friday. And actually, I had a doctor's appointment this morning, just got of the annual, and the nurse said, are you done for the day? And I said, It's 9:45 in the morning. and I said, I've already been down to work for like 5 hours. Heck no, I'm busy. I got lots going on. So I appreciate all the folks that are working here on a Friday and spend about an hour with us here at IAMS in Lazarus Coaching. So most retirees get little advisor help on Social Security. How true that is. I have many people that come to me. I said, well, why don't you go to your Jones broker, to your Merrill broker, to your Morgan Stanley broker, to your bank broker or advisor? You know why they're coming to me? Because those guys don't know Social Security. And this is from Sarah O'Brien from CNBC. It says a majority, just word for word, a majority of older Americans get none, nada, zero professional advice about a key part of their retirement planning, Social Security, even if they work with a financial advisor. If that person, I'll just say so. How long have you been with him? Well, we've been with him for quite a few years now. I said, well, you know what? He might be a good financial planner, that accumulation stage, but how about that more preservation, more income producing stage, which is the difference between retirement planning and financial planning? Yeah, if he doesn't know Social Security, she doesn't know Social Security, I think there may be a red flag that goes on up. Okay? And if you got any questions, type them on in. We're going to answer them here at the end. Now, a Social Security test that only 1 in 300 seniors could ace. And then I wrote this in. How about you? How about the financial advisor, the insurance agent? There's 5 questions. This is by Christy Bieber. She had this. I saw it, and I thought it was really, really good from Simply Wise on the a financial site that's on the web. So here we're going to take a 5-question quiz, taking you back to school. So don't cheat, don't Google those answers, okay? I'm trusting you. To maximize your monthly Social Security checks, at what age must you claim benefits? To maximize your monthly Social Security checks, at what age must you claim your benefit? You know what age that is? Here we go. First answer. The age is not full retirement age. The age is 70. If you wait till 70, you maximize out. Why not after 70? Doesn't get any bigger. I mean, COLAs, but everything gets COLAs. No, age 70 is how you maximize that benefit. What's the earliest age you can receive survivor's benefits if you're not disabled? What's the earliest age you can receive survivor's benefits if you're not disabled? Here we go. Answer is 60, not 62, which almost everybody does. On that question, only 9% of the people that took this quiz knew that answer. 60. Here we go. Next question number 3. How you doing? Does your spouse need to receive benefits for you to qualify for spousal benefits? Does your spouse need to receive benefits for you to qualify for spousal benefits? Here we go. What's the answer? Yeah, she does, or he does. If the spouse is not taken, you can't take all of yours or half of theirs. To receive a spousal benefit, the spouse has to take theirs also, like a restricted application, which we'll go through. Only 20% of the people got that right. Can divorced spouses receive spousal benefits? Can divorced spouses receive spousal benefits? The yes or no answer. Here we go. Yes. If you put yes, you got the first part of the question right. Now, there's 4 stipulations that have to be met. If you can name 2 of them, 2 of the 4, I'll count the answer correct. So, can divorced spouses receive spousal benefits? Yeah, divorced spouses, yep. But here's what has to happen. First of all, the marriage had to last at least 10 years. The person receiving or collecting the benefit has to be unmarried. Thirdly, the ex has to be at least 62. And fourthly, What is the fourth one? The fourth one is the marriage had to be divorced 2 years or longer. Okay, yeah, that's the four. Here we go. And last one, are you eligible for survivor's benefits if you're divorced? So now we got survivor benefits, we got divorce benefits in the same equation. Are you eligible for someone who dies? Can you get a benefit there if you're divorced? Answer 3, 2, 1. Here we go. You can, if the four stipulations are met. And if you forgot those stipulations, shame on you. We just went over them last slide. What are the two of the four? If you get two of the four right, write down two of the four. Got to remember those things, yeah. First one is what? You're currently unmarried. Second one is marriage lasts at least 10 years. Third one is X is at least 62. Fourth one is divorce has been 2 years or later. How'd you do? How'd you do on those that 5-question test? Unless you got them all right, or maybe 4 of the 5 right without guessing, because those are yes/no questions. Yeah, but if you didn't guess but you do the answer, yeah, well, good for you. But if you didn't get 4 or 5 right, knowing the answer, yeah, then it's pretty tough. Okay, Jana Heron from the USA Today publication back a year and a half ago wrote this article, which I thought was very interesting. I love that drain. Swirling around the drain. Doing this one thing with your Social Security could mean losing $100,000 in retirement. Bullet point 1. How much does claiming Social Security at the wrong time cost you? Bullet point 2. Retirees will lose an average of $111,000 in income per household over their lifetime. Why? Because they took Social Security benefits at the wrong time. Incredible. Losing over $111,000. Bullet point 3. Only 4% of retirees took Social Security to financially optimal age. That's the positive. You know what the negative is? 96% took at the wrong age. We're here to help them take at the right age or closer to the right age. So if you got a question, put them on in. Well, the goal of this webinar today, the first thing is, IAMS, Insurance Agency Marketing Service, they'd love for you to come and work with them. Of course. You're on a webinar. That's what they'd love. But you know what? I want to educate you up some. You're not going to get it all, but on Social Security, show you what you can get and what you can learn. And I'll tell you, we do have a couple great, which I think are extremely good. Let's say not great. Let's say extremely good marketing programs, virtual Social Security seminars, which I'll tell you what, if you don't think you can make money from a virtual seminar, you're wrong. We tested. I had done over 530 public seminars, and now I've done 7 virtual seminars. And my first 3 or 4 virtuals that I did, I try to do them just like my regular seminar. It didn't work. Got one little piece of business, never paid for itself. Then all of a sudden I got the hang of it. And IAMS has really been a proponent of keeping that marketing going. Also, Retirement Boss Radio. We coach Social Security on both ends of this, because it's certainly a very important topic when you get to be close to retirement. It was signed into act in 1935 by Franklin Delano Roosevelt. First age to take was 75. You couldn't take early as 62. You couldn't take later as late as 70 for a discount and a surplus. Average age of living then, it was at 65, but the average age of living was less than that, 62. Was never taxed till 83. The Bipartisan Budget Act was the last major reform. We hear all the time, every year, major changes. All their changes cost of living. This year it's 1.3%. Last year was 1.6%. The year before that it was 2.8%. The year before that 2%. There's been inflation every single year since 75 when they came out with COLAs, cost of living adjustments. There's only been 3 years there hasn't been a cost of living adjustment. 2010, 2011, and 2016. So there almost always is that. But 2015 is when they did away with file and suspend in 6 months. We still are hanging on. We still have about 3 years left, not quite, like 2 years and 8, 9 months or 10 months of restricted application if you're old enough. Okay? How important is Social Security? Very. 59% of retirees count on their Social Security to be a major source of income, according to the Greenwald Retirement Confidence Survey. It's very important. More than your 401k, more than pensions, yes. Social Security 101 is simple. Full retirement age depends on when you were born, but it's either going to be 66 or 67 when you can get the full benefit. Yep. Age 62 if you take it at a discount, age 70 if you take it at a premium. If you wait longer, you get more. You take it earlier, you get less. Can't take it earlier than 62 on individual benefit. Stupid to wait. Stupid. Is that too harsh? But it's ridiculous to wait longer than 70 because you lose the benefit. Social Security have a huge value by claiming at your right time. And you know why I put that in here? It's not the right time. It's not a right time. It's your right time because Social Security claiming is like a snowflake. You know what's one of the worst water cooler talks ever? Conversations. Hey, I took Social Security at 62 and you should too. Hey, I took Social Security at 70 and you should too. Means nothing. Hey, that's like saying, hey, I love the color violet and you should too. Yeah. Or you really should say cooked spinach. I couldn't stand cooked spinach when I was a kid. Questions? Type them in. We'll answer them for you. We ran a surplus last year. Most people didn't think we did. We might not. Actually, in 2019, we might not in 2020 with the pandemic, but then we'll start losing money out of the trust fund. That trust fund's has about just under $3 trillion, about $2.9 trillion. It'll go bankrupt. They predict the trustee administration, Social Security, in 2034, 2035. So in like 15 years. When that goes bankrupt, a lot of people, when they hear about Social Security going bankrupt, the administrators are talking about, the trustees are talking about the trust fund. Most people think there'd just be no income coming in, no matter what you're making. That's not true, because it's a pay-as-you-go system. That's where payroll taxes, FICA comes into play. What's FICA stand for? FICA. Federal Insurance Contributions Act. FICA. Now, here's what happens is the government going to have to go in and make adjustments to firm up the Social Security Trust Fund? Yes. But remember, 6.2% comes in from you by payroll, and then another 6.2% comes in for taxation if you're the employer. If you're like me and a lot of people on this webinar, we're self-employed. We're independent. We're not captive on a W-9. We're being 1099. Yeah. Then you pay both ends of it. And I used to think that was a rook. They were cheating the self-employed. But Social Security is such a benefit. I do understand how, if you're self-employed, you pay both ends of it. You'll never find a better pension. It's a lifelong pension with survivor's benefits, divorce benefits, cost of living benefits. How do you beat that? Guaranteed by the U.S. government. Are there ways to firm it up? Sure, there is. The two big ways to firm this up would be taxation. Right now, President Biden has out, I'm not in favor of really more taxation, but this may not be the worst. You pay up to actually $142,800 this year. Above that, you don't pay Social Security taxes. Okay, you do on Medicare, Medicaid, but you don't on Social Security. And then there's a donut hole up to $400,000, and then you pay above $400,000. I don't like more taxation, but that isn't the worst. There also would be age increasing. The full retirement age, the highest is 67 right now. I mean, 85 years ago was only 65. It's only raised 2 years, and look how much longer livelihoods are now than they were back then. Hmm. Or you say that full retirement age at 67, raise at 67, 68 or 9 or 70, raise 70 to 73, 74. People are living longer, working longer. Yeah, no doubt. Okay. Questions? Type them on in. Be more than happy. Is it a Ponzi scheme? Of course not. Don't be a what I want to say. Don't be a gosh, it's the word. I'm thinking about it. Don't get too worried, too concerned about Social Security not being there down the road, because I won't tell you right now it will be. Okay? Do we borrow against Social Security? Yeah. Do we owe IOU Social Security? Yeah. Just like we do, with the American dollar. We're off the gold standard. We're off the silver standard. Wouldn't concern me. You need 40 quarters of coverage. Each quarter is $1,470. That $1,470 is one quarter of coverage. You need 40 of those to get a benefit, a minimum benefit with Social Security. Basically 10 years. The most quarters you can get in a year is 4. The more you make, up to that 142,800, the more you make, the bigger those benefits are going to be. They take your 35 highest inflation adjusted years, and there's COLAs on everything. If you're born in 1943 through 1954, your full retirement age is 66. It stair steps 2 months each year. Up to a newborn child born today is full retirement age is 67 for Social Security. Don't you love that dog? And he's wearing a bone tie. Bad Nebraska joke. If you take early, the good part is you get it now. Bad part is reduced for the rest of your life. It's going to be reduced by 5 to 6% on an average under the full retirement age. And later than full retirement age, it'll grow a guaranteed 8%. Remember, cost of living is on top of everything. 8% plus 1.3 cost of living this year, 9.3. Where you can get a government guarantee income stream for 9.3%? Can you say nowhere? Because it's not available. That's exactly right. So we went through the individual benefit. That's one. But here's the 4 others. If you know those 5, and I'll just go through the individual again, you can answer 85% of all questions that are thrown at you. Let me say that again. If you understand the individual benefit, the spousal benefit, divorce spouse benefit, survivor benefit, and restricted application, you can answer 85% of all the questions that are thrown at you. So let's talk about them. Now I'm going to do it in a simplistic way. When we're coaching together, now it's much more in depth, and we're role playing, and it takes longer, and all kinds of help for yourself. Okay. Now, let's say you got days. PIA stands for primary insurance amount. That's the amount at full retirement age. His is 2,400. Amy's PIA primary insurance amount at full retirement age is 1,000. Dave claims. Amy claims. The highest one always gets their benefit. Dave gets his 2,400. Amy has the option. She can take all of her 1,000, or she can take half a day's. What's half of 2,400? 1,200. Which one's higher? 1,200. Which one's Amy going to take? Request 1,200. If she doesn't request it, she doesn't get it. It's biblical. If you ask, you'll receive. And how the government looks at it, it's actually 2 transactions, though it's only one ACH in the checking account or savings. It's a $1,000 individual benefit with a $200 top-up spousal benefit. You take all of yours or half of your spouse's as long as they've taken, whichever is higher. Okay? How about divorce spouse benefits? A lot of those benefits are left on the table. Remember those 4 stipulations? Marriage lasted 10 years or longer. Currently unmarried. X is at least 62. Divorce was 2 years or longer ago. If that's the case, you can use your spouse in this scenario exactly as if you're still married to them. Why is that a big deal? Married couples have the potential to get many, not a few, many more options that benefit them than a single person does. Divorced spouse benefits are left on the table all day long. Different than individual benefit, which is done automatically for you. Divorced spouse benefit has to be requested, as does survivor benefits. So here's Dave's, or you don't get it. Here's Dave's $2,000 benefit at full retirement age, so there's no discounting, let's say. Amy's is $1,200. Who normally dies first? The guy does, 75% of the time. He dies, kicks the bucket. Amy can drop hers and request and get his, or she can let his go and just take hers. Well, it's $800 difference if he takes her husband's. If you don't ask for it, you're not going to get it. If you don't ask for it, you are not going to get it. Coordinating spousal benefits. This is a tough subject to explain over the phone. Remember, when you're coaching, we role play. I've got a lot more handouts and attachments. We really dissect it. I'm available anytime. I mean, if I'm in an appointment, of course I can't take the call, but I'm in an appointment at any time. So here's what happens is file and suspender is phased out. Restricted application is still available, but you know what? For the person taking it, you have to be born before the date of January the 2nd of 1954. Born before that. Okay? Can't do it if you're after that. So you got to be about 71 in a couple months old. Geez, I said 71. I don't know why I said that. Not 71. You've got to be able to go on in and be 67 years, and it's like 67 years and 2 months old to be able to restrict your application. Yep. All right. Now, what is restricted application? I know this is complicated, so try to stay with me on it. Dave's primary insurance amount is $2,400. Amy's is $1,000. Amy takes her benefit. She wants the money to come into the family. Dave wants his to grow the guaranteed 8% for full retirement age. So if Dave let his grow, then Amy can't take half of his, can she? No way. So what happens is he does a restricted application. That's like taking a rabbit through a hat or out of a hat, because now he can start his, stop his, and the eyes of Social Security, it acts like he started his. He lets his grow the 8% till 70. Amy now can reach out and get a spousal benefit, which is always half of that person's benefit. Half of 2,400 is 1,200. Amy's taking 1,000. There's $200 of top up. I'm sorry. That would be the other way. I'm sorry. I'm going to go back on this. Dave's PIA is 2,400. Amy's is 1,000. I'm sorry. Yeah, this is a restricted application. Dave starts his, stops his, let his grow the 8%. Now he can reach out not to his, but to Amy's. He reaches out to Amy's 1,000. He can get half of that through a spousal benefit. $500. God, done this forever, and I even get mixed up from time to time. That $500 is $6,000 a year. Times 4 would be $24,000. That money is free money. Only 0.7% of all people that this would benefit request it here in the U.S. It's a big deal, called restricted application. I'm telling you what, if it doesn't fit often, but if the shoe fits, boy, it's just beautiful. Okay, so you'd think you'd go to Social Security Administration to get advice about when to claim. They can't give advice. Is that ironic? They cannot give advice. What can they give? The highest benefit right now. In fact, this next piece is interesting. Provide enough information so that claimants can make informed choices, but do not give advice. They can give facts, but they can't give advice. So consider, Social Security's got a lot of moving parts. Social Security is not a standalone income stream. It's not. Social Security is the most flexible of all income streams. Claiming at your right time, not the right time or a right time, can be paramount. Break-even specialists like engineers and math teachers and architects, yeah, you know what happens is IT guys, A lot of them forget about if they die first, their wife would continue to get it for years. My dad died 15 and a half years ago. His benefit was much bigger than my mother's. She got his surviving benefit. She's 97, going to be 98 here in about 4 or 5 months. Yeah, she's benefited from my dad's survivor benefit all that time. It's called pillars of income, the 5 pillars of income: wages, pensions, income producing assets like 401ks, IRAs, which I do a lot of business with, RMDs at 72 now on traditional accounts, and how Social Security, for being flexible, of how it fits in, how it conduits into the others. There's a lot to consider for the best claiming decision, a lot of kind of benefits. But remember, you got to understand Social Security. You got to know it. And certainly going out there and talking to people and explaining Social Security, iron sharpens iron, but getting the basics is what I'm going to do for you. There aren't many people you can hire in the industry under the field marketing organization format that they might give you 15, 20 minutes, but to coach you for 45 minutes for 3 or 4 different time periods, all the attachments, and then full availability to call me. And I will call you back. Call me. I will take the call. Email me. I will email you back. And I always say, use me, don't abuse me. But that's what you have the opportunity to have, is someone who has an expertise in Social Security pretty much at your beck and call. It's a pretty nice, I'm just going to let you know, it's a pretty nice option to have from an FMO standpoint. And I'm going to kind of end on this. It's kind of like a little saying, but if you heard something today that you said, you know what, I'd like to learn Social Security. I would. I'd like to really have somebody take me under their arm and get me coached up so I can answer those questions. And it can lead to so much business if you open up. I mean, uncovering all their investable assets, finding out what's dormant, what's doing poorly, at any one given time, over 40% of all people would consider changing their financial advisor. Fact. At any one given time. You just have to ask. There's no saying that says procrastination is my sin. It brings me constant sorrow. I really shouldn't practice it. Perhaps I'll stop. Tomorrow never comes. Don't let it happen to you. You know what? I've never had anybody come to me and say, Dave, you can't believe how much money I've made from procrastinating. I've gotten rich from procrastinating. Procrastinating almost always loses people's money. If you heard something today, when this poll comes on up here right now, it'll say yes, it'll say no. 15, 20 minutes talking about your marketing, talking about could Social Security claiming help you? How could we market Social Security claiming? Having the availability to have myself kind of really like your silent board of directors that you can call at any time for not just Social Security questions, but questions within your practice or retirement plans, etc. Yeah, it could be a real plus to you. And I do all my coaching and all my coaching services, all my fixed index and fixed in any kind of insurance business, Med Sup, Med Advantage, all through IAMS. Okay. So Steve, I'm going to turn it on over to you and see if we have any questions, and we'll kind of put this Friday's webinar to bed.
Good. Well, thanks, Dave. Great job. We do have a few questions popping up, and we'll get to those here in just a quick second, if you can hold on with us. So a couple of things that I want to mention. I don't want to belabor a point. Dave has talked a little bit about all the benefits of Social Security claiming and how that can grow your business. And we talked a little bit about radio. So I would say at some point, we should talk, if we have a minute, we should talk about radio and how that works, or talk about Social Security claiming seminars and how those work, so that guys and gals can hear how to apply some of what they learned today, because that really is the key. Yes, when we're talking about Social Security, you mentioned a couple of times like claiming at your right time, or you got to find just the right fit. So when you're talking to clients, you're trying to figure out for them, Dave, what's their right time. What are the factors that you take into account?
I take into account their age, difference between the husband and wife. I take into account how long they think that they will live with, from their immediate family, brothers, sisters, mom, and dad. Really go back no longer than that. I take into account where their expenses are and when they would like to retire. I always ask, when do you think you'll retire, and when would you like realistically to retire? Sometimes it's the same, sometimes it's not. And so when I ask those questions, it may be also, where are your expenses right now? Do you have a budget? What do you think your expenses will be after you retire? And then I get their birth dates and the sex, and it's
You talk much
it's
about health?
well, I do talk about health, yeah, but it's only yeah. I was just thinking, I can't say it on the webinar, but anyway, yeah. So what happens is that I'm just kind of going through everything, and then I put together the software. Steve, I was remiss to say that people get, if they come coaching with us and myself, they get free Social Security software for 3 months, and that's nice to try it on out. Do it 5, 6, 7, 10 times. It's pretty simple software. There's no cost, and then after that, I think it's about $30 a month. But I'll tell you what, Social Security puts you in a dynamic of really a specialist, kind of that cardiologist, not just a family practitioner that can be helpful, but the cardiologist that can save your life. That's how people look at a Social Security expert. And I can't tell you how many times people have said to me, well, you know what, Dave? Heck, if you know that much about Social Security claiming, I'm going to let you go take a look at my investments too. Well, how great is that? How great is that? Because what happens is Social Security is a unique, and you know what? That's why most people on this webinar today, they don't really have a true understanding. Only about 10% of advisors do. That's counting bankers, lawyers, and CPAs. So that's why we have, and for such a long time now, nearly 10 years, have really been such an advocate for our advisors with IAMS that we could coach them up somehow on Social Security claiming.
Yeah, a real benefit. And I mentioned radio, so that I had somebody percolate up, and they said, "What does radio cost?" Did we talk about radio?
Barely. I just kind of touched on it. Do you want me to go a little bit? Okay, more in depth.
I think it would be. Yeah, I think it's really a good subject, and now we've got a couple questions on it. So.
Okay. Well, I am going to say this: radio during the pandemic, I think, has probably even gotten better because so many people are listening to radio. You know what? Like 92% of all Americans listened to so many hours of radio last year. Now that is with the crowd of 50 and over. You might have more podcasts for the millennials and so forth, but I'll tell you right now, we do a radio host. We're a co-host. We're the main show. Then we have a co-host, kind of the color guy, to keep it going. But we have the radio buying time. We have a buyer that does it. We have a production company. Those are third party. They're not in house with the FMO of IAMS, but we've gone out and found the best ones there are. And then we have a call center that goes and takes all of our, because it's a recorded show. You're recorded in your home, your office, and then the call center takes live calls. And this is true. I'm not making this up. I normally get 2-3 good appointments every single week, which I'm really, really happy with. It might be from 10 to 12. Well, in the last several months, I've averaged well over 15. Actually, it was 19 and 22 the last 2 months. I had 9 set appointments out of my last Sunday. I go from Sunday from 12 to 1 on KFAB in Omaha. So
that's ridiculous.
It has been, it is just, I'm almost embarrassed to say that. It really is. I'm almost embarrassed to, but that's the truth. And so being a radio host, so the first thing why people don't ever look at radio, cost.
Sure.
Probably cost $20,000. No, I'll tell you what, it costs less than the old dinner. I used to spend $5,000 a month all the time on dinner workshops, Steve. Now we do educational library workshops, but they're less expensive. But I'll tell you right now, we have found that the majority of the cost of, depending on the city, if you're in the biggest station in LA, it's going to be more. But I'll tell you, from $3,500 to $4,000 a month to be on the radio for an hour, 4 or 5 times a month, getting 10 to 20 appointments. Those are not leads. Those are not prospects. They are a prospect, but they're set appointments from the appointment setting inbound call center. It's pretty impressive, and I coach you through that. So no, it's the people. We've seen some very, very good success, and and I'm trying to find more stations for myself to
Sure.
go on. It's been
Oh,
a very,
absolutely.
very good
Mhm.
advertising medium for myself to get qualified appointments. You bet.
Yep.
Hmm.
Well, you said that you think for a lot of people, they think the cost is too high. And I don't know that that's the primary barrier. I think people are sometimes just a little bit intimidated by radio. They think it's more complicated than it is. And so it is a simple process. If you have interest in radio, I would check yes on that poll. Dave runs Retirement Boss Radio. He can do the ins and outs for you. If you said, hey, Dave, during the call, I'm here in Tuscaloosa, yeah, and I'd like to know, what the cost might be for me. Most of that cost is he'll have to make a phone call because he'll have to call the media buyer, and the media buyer, Jared, like 1,000 years of experience for a young guy. It's just crazy. But
Hey,
his
Steve.
family's.
Steve, you know what? You never knew my father, but he was an electrical engineer by his degree from Iowa State, and
Mhm.
my dad was kind of academic. He's a pretty smart dude, math wise. I remember when Dad would get flustered, and I mean it was really hard math. This is off the subject, but Dad would say, "That's harder than Chinese math." I remember my dad saying that, and I have no idea how hard Chinese math is, but that's how sometimes people think about radio. It's like
Yeah.
Chinese math. How the heck do you figure this out? We try, we, and Steve, you always say this, and it's so true. When you listen to all the people that are on radio that we put on radio right now that are doing their shows, because of the production, because of the coaching, because of the hands-on, because of the scripts, because of just how we do it, most everybody sounds pretty good, don't they?
They really, yeah. We chuckle about it because sometimes it's surprising how good that it comes out sounding, but everybody sounds great. The production does such a great job, and they all, do a good job on the radio. There are some, I mean, you have to have a little bit of a personality to your voice, I
Right.
think, to be really effective. But most people come out and they just sound great. Everybody sounds better than I expect, and some of it's the co-host, some of it's the recording, how they do that, the production that
Well,
goes
and
on
all you
around
know
it.
what also happens? It helps when you can take out every flub, every
Yep.
mistake, every stutter. It's just like, hey, don't do it. They just take it out. They make you
Yeah.
sound. You know what it's like? It's like seeing a kind of a pretty person, and then they get air touched or whatever they call that. I mean, they end up beautiful. That's kind of how it is in the
Yeah.
radio business. They make you look better than we really are, which is
Yep.
wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. I should have done this earlier. I'm gonna I sent a chat message with your website, www.retirementbossradio. And if you all want to listen to a podcast, you can hear one. You got to go down to the bottom of the website, and he just has them by week, so you can listen to anyone you want. But that's the thing that people say, boy, Dave sounds great. Everybody sounds that way. It really is good. They do a great job with the production, and it can be made pretty simple. Most people are a little bit intimidated by the cost, and if you're doing seminars, then that's an easy one. Right now, seminars are a little tougher, and radio's probably going to be cheaper than what you're spending on seminars for most people. So, and it's amazing the credibility that you gain. Dave is actually close enough to us that every once in a while we will, like Dave will invite me out to his club to golf, and everybody knows Dave because Dave's on the radio, so, and they know what
Yeah,
he
I had.
does, which is great.
Well, you know what? I had a weird. I'll do real quick. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not beating my chest. I'm just telling you how this works. There is an old time broker. He's probably been in the business for 20 years, and he's with Thrivent, which is now it's Thrivent Independent out of Fremont. He kind of heads up the shop. And I said, "Hey, is that you, Chris?" He goes, "Yeah, it is." And he said, Actually, he had a media client we were in Regis at Omaha. Anyway, he just said, "You're a star." He says, "You're a star." And I said, "How am I a star?" He says, "Because I listen to you on radio." And he's in the business. And I
Right.
laughed a little bit. He goes, "Yeah, you do a really nice job." He said, "That's pretty cool." And then we just talked about it and said, "Hey, let's catch lunch sometime." But you know what it does? Seminars are wonderful. They're wonderful lead generation to get appointments, but they don't put you into a celebrity status. Radio and television, that's what they do. And radio in particular is so much easier because
Yeah.
we've looked at television before. Not that we will never do television advertising, but radio's working so darn well right now. We're getting on this horse and running it for a while. So just think about that because radio could be something that could be worthwhile to take a look at when we talk.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's it. I noted, Dave, that if a few more people have requested appointments or put yes on the poll, so it's probably because of that interest. And if you're doing seminars, certainly Dave can help you there. If you just want Social Security training, and learn more about that, or if you want to take a look at the software, see how the software works and get a little assistance on that, all those are very good reasons to hit yes on that poll. For most of you, or for some of you, I guess I should say, you just tuned in and you wanted to learn a little bit about Social Security. And I hope you did. There's Dave touched on what he would tell you are, the 5 or so most important things that you need to know about Social Security. And hopefully that this seminar helped you with that here today. But if you want more information or would like to find some ways to use knowledge like Social Security claiming to grow your business, by all means, put yes on that poll. And we're going to close that down here in just a minute. There are a couple of other quick questions here, Dave, and I saw them, and now I got to go back and pull them up again. So one person says, I just tell my clients to wait until 70 because of the 8% growth. Talk a little bit about why you just don't tell all of your clients, hey, growing every year, take other money and leave that money sitting there. Why don't you just do that, Dave?
Yeah, let's go ahead and role play right now. Say it's a single guy,
Mhm.
and you say, yeah, I think the best thing is just to wait to 70. He goes, okay, great. I just wanted to know. He said, oh, by the way, I just want to ask you, how long do you think, realistically, how long do you think you'll live? Well, Dad died at 48. Mom died at 43. My 4 brothers all died before 60. I would say I got about 6 more days to live.
Right.
You can't wait to 70 for everybody. Of course not. There's
Yep.
time. I know a ton about Social Security. My wife took it 62. It was the very best time financially for us to take it, considering everything. No, that's just dead wrong. And I say that many times in the absolute um, 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 in the appointment itself. I've had people come in and say to me, "Oh, you're just going to tell me to wait to 70." Nope, that isn't the way it works.
Mhm.
I mean, it may be another different day. That's the reason why you might. Or how about this? How about the guy has? How about the guy has? So he says, "Yeah, I think the best thing is to wait to 70." When did you want to retire? I want to retire at 65. What kind of income streams do you have coming in besides Social Security? None. What kind of assets do you have? Oh, I got $45 at the bank. How are you going to live on? I have no idea because I'm not going to work. Would Social Security cover it? It would. It would cover a big part of it. Well, why
Mhm.
wouldn't you take it 60? I mean, there's all kinds of reasons not to take it 70. All kinds of reasons.
Yeah.
That's why
If you were going to
that's
guess, I mean,
yeah.
how often do you tell people to wait to 70? Is it 20%, 40%? I mean, how many people do you think it really makes sense to wait till they're 70 to start tapping their Social
Well, if
Security?
they here's when you wait to 70. If you've got longevity on your side and you've got assets that are more than say $400,000 to $500,000 that you can pull from for
Mhm.
income until you're 70, if you're married and your wife most likely is going to live longer than you 75% of the time, they will. Like my mom's, she's 15 and a half years past my dad using his. I mean, those are great reasons for the higher breadwinner to wait to 70, which is usually the male because they didn't stay home with the kids. Might have been salary inequality, back in the old days, and so there's reasons for it. But just to go in and say to somebody, "Hey, wait to 70," it's just it's
That makes sense,
that's not
especially when
that's
there's
not
a
what
husband and wife involved. Robert's got a question. He says, if wife takes Social Security at 62 and then husband turns on at 66, both are the same age. Does the wife step up to half of the husband's benefit minus what she's received from 62 to 66? Is
no,
that the way that it
no,
works?
no, no. Unless all of hers is less than half of his. But remember, she took it 62. Now she's going to get a 30% decrease. So I'm just making this up. Say the husband is at a $2,000 benefit, the wife's at an 800, but she took at a 600 because she took it earlier. She took it 600. Well, that 2,000, she'll be able to jump up to 1,000 once he takes hers because hers is not as much as half of his. So he's at 2,000. His gets down to 1,000 and a half. She's at 800, but you know what? Now she has a discount of 30%. So then you got to discount that off the 1,000. So it just keeps on getting. If you take early, that discount continues forever until the guy dies, and then the wife jumps up to his full benefit with no discount. As long as you're past full retirement age, Steve. I mean, I'm not saying everybody follows that, but
Yep.
2,700 rules. Do I know them all? No, but do I know all the important ones? I do. I know all the important ones. And that's what I'm going to portray to you. If you know individual, spousal, divorced, survivor, and restricted, you know those inside and out, which I get you trained up on those. You'll know 85% of all the questions that are thrown at you.
And that other 15%, they can just call you.
That other 50% we just guess on. No, I'm joking. They call. They call me. They call me, and then I give them the best answer I can.
Yeah. And we've got some pretty good resources. We do subscribe to a couple services, so we can, if something comes up, we got a question, we can get second opinions. The biggest issue, go into Social Security and try and get that information directly, almost impossible. As you guys know, worse now than ever before with the pandemic. So
the joke is you wait for 45 minutes and still don't know what they said when you're done. I mean, really, Social Security, you can talk to 3 different people and get 3 different answers. And
yeah.
I'm not talking them down. They try as hard as they can. Just some people know more than others and give much more insight.
You bet. Well, we've got over time. There's still a couple questions. If you've had a question that we didn't get answered that you need the answer to, hit yes on that poll. Dave will be glad to answer that for you one-on-one. There are a lot of questions. I looked through the answers, Dave. This is a very good group in terms of the answers that people put into the system. And it's always kind of indicative of, how much they know. And this is a good, smart group. People that know Social Security probably know a good bit already. So it's great opportunities to display that knowledge, whether it's via radio, seminar, or however that you can get that out there. So with that, I'm going to close that poll down here in a moment. I wanted to thank you all for joining us here today. It's been a great webinar for a Friday. I'm just amazed by how many were able to take some time and join us here this morning. It says a lot about the quality of the people that we have the good fortune to work with here at IAMS, that they're willing to take some time and learn more about how they can help their clients and how they can grow their business. I'm very, very impressed with our group size here today. Thank you all for joining us. You're going to have a lot of people to talk to, Dave. There's a lot of
great.
Most everybody want to chat, which is great.
Hey, I'll say this real quick. When Ron Lodel calls you to set up the appointment with me to fit our schedule, take the call. Don't put yes and then not take his call. Don't put yes and put him off. Let's get this done. I promise you it'll be worth that 15, 20 minutes that we talked.
That's a good point, Dave. I've never, ever heard anybody say, boy, that was a waste of 15 minutes. Everybody always gets something good from a conversation with you, even if it's a joke about a bone tie.
That's right, a bone tie. I love that picture.
All right. Thank you all for joining us here today. Whatever we do to help you, have our 800 number, 800-255-5055. We let off with some stuff that IAMS does here that we can help you with. Certainly, if any questions, give us a call. Ron will call you here shortly, and we'll get you set up with a appointment with Dave. If something comes up in the meantime and you need something, give us a call here at the office. We appreciate it. You've got my email address, and I'm available to answer your questions myself. Love to chat with producers, and I really love to chat with producers that are interested in growing their business and interested in helping their clients. So look forward to your call or look forward to your email. Have a great finish to your day here today. Great finish to your week. Hope you have a great weekend planned. Dave, thank you for joining us. I know you've got a busy day today, and like I said, your value to our producers is unquestioned, and I appreciate you taking some time from your schedule to join us here this morning.
Sure. Thank you.
Everybody have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hey, Dave. 69% voted when there was about 25 on, and they were 85% yes. So I guess I'm probably a good solid 18 to 20. So.